noun for this.
Welcome to another Minneapolis by night. This is the Mage venue side scene with the shifter McKenna, picking up where we left off prior. You had just stepped out of the Umbra, immediately behind this guy, who individual seems to be leading the larger of the two gangs, and he has
The rifle that shot her
hit you with a couple
twice.
Some unpleasant damage.
I think she has 3 damage left on her thing, and you said it was plus 2 dice to hit last time, if I recall?
Yes, you get 2 extra dice because you're behind him.
Okay, so she actually only gets 1 extra die.
I saw we had 1 Band-Aid left.
That Band-Aid is all yours, baby. That Band-Aid is all yours.
Yeah. Mommy.
You heard you were wounded.
Next time I'm going to go with you, Grandma.
All right.
Grandpa's a case of her.
Yep, so I get
I'll put this.
Dex Brawl 2, 4, plus 1 because I'm at a -1 damage, so that's 1 die less instead of the 2. 2, 6, 7 dice.
Sounds about right.
One, 2, 3 to hit, and I'm guessing he's not expecting this coming from behind, so he's not dodging.
No, although you do notice he had started to turn, but no, he doesn't have time to get out of the way.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Hey, I get 7 to damage. One, 2, 3, 4, 5.
And that was with claws?
Yes.
Well, that gives him significantly less options.
Remember, she's in Glabro, so those claws are more like nails, not full-on Krynos claws. But
I assume they're still aggravated, though.
Yeah.
And he soaks one of them.
Oh, boy. Oh, boy.
5, correct?
Yep.
So he's in a rather subpar state.
Yeah, but I'm guessing if he's had extra actions, he has Rage or Celerity. Or some mage power that I'm unfamiliar with.
And it is then...
If I recall correctly, that was her last Rage round.
Yes. So it will circle back, to...
Circle back. Actually, is it top around?
Yes.
So I can roll my Stamina Primal Urge to heal another one.
Yes.
2, 4. Actually, technically 3 with that -1. And it's a diff 8 for Stamina Primal Urge. So I am still at a -1 dice pool, but 1 less. I've got more health levels. Okay, and she's dropping 2 more rage because there was 19 people total and 4 of them ran.
Excuse me.
So that's 15. Okay, hold on 1 second.
I hate to interrupt, but this
I now know that a pen works.
Perfect.
Yes.
Actually, apparently while you were passing through the Umbra, this guy, Takugawa, went pretty apeshit because there are about 8 left standing of the original 19. 4 ran, and he just tore them apart.
And then the one she ripped the arm off of.
Yep. Yeah.
Okay. So she's going to drop her last 2 rage for this round. And, yeah. She's managed to heal 1 damage.
Alrighty.
And if I recall...
him first, I believe.
Yep, he's got the first go.
So he will... And he's basically clearing out the mobs at this point. apparently quite successfully.
Huh, now they have an advantage,
Yeah.
actually, because one's working from one side, the other's working from the other.
So he just did a ton. He's gonna split it.
Jesus.
Yeah, he takes out 2 of them. He takes out 2 of them.
How? Okay. So you take out 2 in your go?
Yes. He's dealing with the fodder since you're right up close and personal already with this other guy.
Right. So I believe, if I recall, that leaves it my go after him. And this rifle guy, the one that I just hit from behind, how is he hanging as far as
Well, he's significantly wounded.
well, forget this. I'm not giving him another opportunity to shoot. Being that it is my go, I'm just gonna take him out with claws. Oh, I keep forgetting. Okay. My brawl 10s double.
Okay.
Hand to hand. Oh shit. I need 3 more dice. Oh. So she's got 2 to hit. Is he dodging now that he's aware she's there?
No.
No? Okay. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, geez. I'm willing to guess that his health levels don't permit him to soak 5 after the hit he just took. But that's up to you.
No. Well, it's armor, so he can attempt to soak 2 of it with his armor. So he takes 3 and is incapacitated from aggravated damage.
Can I coup de grace him?
Sure.
Yeah, she's just gonna swipe the head. I don't know if you want a strength roll or anything to coup de grace him, but she's like I said, she's literally just taking her claw to swipe at his head on his way down.
That's fine.
Okay.
At which point, then the rest of them start to flee. And switch notes here.
Noting that they're fleeing, she lets out a low growl.
And excuse me. That one, Tokugawa he basically raises up one hand. Then you can see him. He starts basically tracing Japanese symbols in the blood at his feet, and the ones that are fleeing start to collapse. And he pretty calmly goes and finishes them off. Gestures down the stairs, like to the basement area of this warehouse. And he says, "After you, my lady."
McKenna will hesitantly go down there. She will revert to breed form Hamid at this point, considering combat is over.
And down below, the inside like this lower level warehouse, you can tell it's separate from the main floor of the warehouse, and looks like it was basically a big gang hideout. So it's set up, they've got stockpiles of weapons. You can see there were some tables and chairs. These guys were sitting around playing cards and obviously doing drugs. It's pretty blatant.
Blatant, like there's stuff left around on tables, etc.,
Yeah.
etc. Okay.
Right. Like they were interrupted in the middle of shooting up or whatever, and probably because there was a commotion.
Ooh.
Um,
Well,
but-
what did they leave behind is the question. Just like heroin or whatever they're shooting up, quote unquote.
Yeah, I mean, there's a variety. There's heroin, there's cocaine around. Obviously, a couple of potheads over in the corner. Probably
Well, the
looks like that was
potheads are one thing.
their
The
low
potheads
grade.
are different. The potheads she can deal with. It's the cocaine and the heroin that she's immediately like destroy.
And out of the shadows, this gentleman walks.
The same gentleman she'd met before.
Yep, and he comes up and looks right at you, and he says, "I must admit, I'm impressed. You are indeed capable, and not only discreet, but skilled in tactics as well. This is something not many bother to invest the time in."
Well, sometimes there is more than what meets the eye, and it needs to be looked into. My job as a half moon is to find these discrepancies and find the truth of all matters.
That does seem to be prudent.
And I have had my own personal experiences that lead me to want to investigate rather than leap uninformed.
Beneficial as well, I suppose.
Oh, yes, yes.
Can't argue there.
And being in that I am also a half moon, I am adept at knowing when I should and should not open my mouth, as I may be able to find truths outside of what people are willing to say if they think I'm looking for them.
I suppose that's true as well. Again, discretion has many applications that are often overlooked.
Yes, and I, as a person, hold much information. However, I'm not just willing to share it with any Tom, Dick, or Harry. I want to know if it's going to become an advantage to me.
Yeah. Looks back and forth between you and Tokugawa, and he says, "I think she could indeed be a prudent ally." And he walks right up to you, takes a deep breath, and he says, "There's something about you that is different." Stirs a great fury and a long forgotten hunger in me as well. You have been close to the other side.
Too close for my comfort, I'm afraid. She raises a brow, looking at him, and she's like, "Unfortunately, my first experiences with this particular existence were less than pleasant."
Yes, well, Another thing these Westerners seem to overlook, frown upon the, as you term it, metis, those like whispers, but you forget he is pure guru. He did not need to wait for a change to learn what he was. He was raised knowing it. And knowing exactly what he was capable of as well.
In that aspect, perhaps Whispers is lucky.
Indeed. He did again have the advantage of coming from a place where he was recognized, indeed even honored. We don't share the same views on those who stand in both worlds from day one that the Westerners do. Nor do we accept those who have fallen as lost. He said any corruption can be
I actually
purified.
I want to roll I'm going to roll my intelligence guru lore at a higher difficulty to see if I know something in particular as far as werewolf stuff goes. I'm rolling it at a diff 8.
Okay.
Because it is Wendigo stuff, not Fiona.
Okay.
3, 5 at 8.
You're gonna have to take the lead a little bit here because I don't know the lores there as well.
No, no, she doesn't have it. No.
Okay.
So she keeps her mouth shut. She does look like she's pondering something, like something's starting to, a thought is starting to form, but it's lost shortly thereafter.
He walks around the warehouse though. He says, "But this will indeed make a good dragon nest. It has been hidden. There's much corruption for me to devour here. I can cleanse this place, make it something more."
There is corruption all over this city, and it is not in just this place.
He says, "No, but this is a place of shadows and secrets as well.
Well,
for if I am to battle the corruption out there and devour it, that must be done in secrecy through agents. Agents such as Whispers." And
give me just a second.
no problem.
The joys of running through the house. Okay.
He reaches into his like an inside pocket of his jacket and he says, "Agents like Whispers, Kosugawa, perhaps even yourself. You strike me as one who is perhaps a bit more independent, maybe left
Well, considering
as a loner."
Considering certain things about myself, yes. I can't say that I am a loner. I do have many, many friends. I can say that I don't tell everybody everything, and the things they don't notice, well, that's on them.
His eyes darken a bit, kind of flash black a little bit, and he's then a bright green, and he says, "Yes, but you are a loner on the other side, for touched as you have been, what totem would accept you? Except one who has stood within the corruption itself and devoured it."
I'm actually going to roll my. I don't have. Oh God, I don't have the lore for it. So this is just a flat intelligence roll.
Do I dare ask what lore you are looking for?
I do not have spirit or umbra lore. I only know what I have seen him play, and thankfully Miriam's lucky for that. Well, 10 and an 8. That'll do it.
You're gonna have to help the mage ST out here because I don't know what you're rolling
Well,
for.
She's rolling to try to figure out what totems will accept her, which
Okay.
is why I rolled the intelligence occult at a higher diff at 8. So she had 2. I can only think of 1. And I'm not quite as peaceful as the mother's other children.
He chuckles pretty darkly at that, and he holds out his hand. It's a black-handled butterfly knife, and he says, "Well, of course, if you knew, then I'm not doing my job." And he kind of circles around you, and as he passes behind your back, you hear,
Oh, she watches.
Right.
That flaw kind of makes her slightly paranoid to the point where she watches
He'll,
everything.
he walks directly away from you into the shadows, and you hear kind of a gouging scraping on the stone,
Okay.
and a fairly large head comes out of the shadows at you. And
Hello.
in the same voice, he says, "I will arise in this city, and none will see me do it, save those who are willing to act with me."
And precisely what sort of action do you wish to take in this city?
He snorts at that, and
She's looking over her shoulder, like, at the face.
he says, "I cannot abide corruption. At least not in this rampant form. Corruption in its entirety is human nature. We cannot destroy that.
Yeah,
It's part of the
I
triad,
stand
whether we like it.
corrupted.
But some corruptions need to be devoured and cleansed. I can tolerate human corruption, the corruption of criminals." And he kind of snorts and gestures with his head towards the table. Human vices and failings, but they can be organized. Even things such as mortal crime, when organized, do far less harm. Oftentimes, they can even do more good than harm, because corruption will exist in one form or another. But if molded, shaped, and
The knowledges the corrupted have can be used to an advantage if properly used.
and some corruptions aren't worth dealing with and must just be obliterated.
This is true.
He gestures to Tokugawa and he says, "This do I aid my agents in doing." He leans forward and one eye looks directly at you.
I don't know if I need a willpower or anything, but she's gonna try to keep herself still, like, meet the eye contact and remain chill.
Probably this is a totem incarna in his
Exactly.
native form. So probably a willpower.
Okay. Well, that's her epic 5 dice pool. If you'll let me drop one because she knew what she was coming to talk to.
That's fine.
Okay, so she's got 1 auto And depending on the diff, it looks like
Yeah, you're all right.
4 additions, so 5 total.
And he snorts at you and he says, "You have a strong will, but those who serve me know how to wear down even the iron wills of the strongest, how to twist and distort their own arrogance and perceptions against them."
I've been referred to as strong-willed, crazy, and I'm trying to think of how Nikolai would phrase this properly,
Yeah,
knowing
he
character
chuckles and he
insert.
says, "I've heard some other descriptions from you." And he nods towards the knife. "I think you'll find that an apt gift. It's a black-handled butterfly knife."
She very slowly and carefully reaches her hand forward to take it.
All right, if you take it, roll a gnosis.
Okay, let's see. Her noses. 4. Oh, well, I have an 8 and a 5, depending on the gnosis of the item.
It's not terribly high. It's in your Facebook.
Oh, surprise!
Apparently, I decided to send you half the information in that. So.
Oh, wow. I guess you'll have to give
Perfect.
that to me later. If this ever wants to load. But she carefully takes it and okay. Nice. That's awesome. Sweet.
He looks at you and he says, "The real question is, are you willing to trade corruption for darkness?" And he looks at the shadows around. You know, he kind of gestures almost with a huge claw at the shadows around him. You notice his claws are also jade, much like the spear that Whispers carries.
Okay. She looks at him and she says, "Well, I much prefer to do my thing quietly."
At that, he kind of looks at you and he
She
says,
kind of smiles.
"I am one who is capable of, or willing perhaps would be a better term, to accept who you are. The question is, can you accept a totem that you can never announce?"
I don't think there are many that would be willing to accept me. And the fact that I like to keep my business secretive in itself, because that often works to my advantage. I think I could accept it.
That one he lets out a pretty blatant chuckle about. And roll me a willpower.
Depending on the difficulty, 1 or nothing.
All right, it would be 1. You're able to stand your ground, but the head snakes towards you, and the jaws open, and as they close around you, he dissipates into like a shadowy smoke.
Okay. Well, McKenna, being what she is always cautious and looks around her.
And he's kind of dissipated, and you see Tokugawa has started what looks to be some sort of ritual in the center of this room. But he nods to you,
Okay.
and he says, "I'm sure we will speak again. For when the nest has been established, I suspect you will find it a comfortable home, or at least a refuge."
I certainly hope so. She smiles. This has been an unexpectedly pleasant experience. I'm not going to lie.
He mentions that you may wish to pick up that firearm that the individual was using.
I'll make sure to check for any others left behind, too.
I
She
will
smiles.
take care of the remains, but you're welcome to help yourself to the weapons. And he gestures to the room around him. He says, "I suspect I will have plenty to establish myself here."
I'm certain that you will. This place needs all the help it can get.
He says, "And I'm sure they will arrive shortly. I
certainly hope
suggest
so.
in your free time you speak with the Shadow Dragon. Meditation is a often successful method, given the culture we hail from. But there is much more about him that he can impart to you that is not my place to tell."
I will do just that. I thank you for your advice.
He nods again, and he says, "And do try and keep Whispers company from time to time. That Sept, as you call it, is a far colder place than the Beast Courts, both in physical
Cold.
and social fashions."
Colder in more ways than you may think, being run by the cannibal spirit and all.
He smiles and he says, "That is less of a concern to me. I
I can
suspect."
see that Great Wendigo has his wisdom, but I don't know much about their history, and a cannibal spirit, well, being that it's against the litany to consume human flesh, you see where the conflict lies.
Give me a perception primal urge.
Okay, let's see. 4, 6. Nope. Oh God, no. No. Double botch. Oh wait, no, it's not a double botch because there's a success. There's a success.
Yeah. But you do notice, even so, that it is quite dark, or getting darker down here. And it kind of seems to be almost flowing away from him. And he chuckles and he says, "Yes, consuming the flesh is primitive. Much easier to go after the corruption directly." He says, "For once devoured, it is gone from the world. But know that this nest will be open to you, and in time perhaps to those you invite as well."
I look forward to coming back.
He says, "I suspect we'll speak again in the future, but now you may wish to not be present for the remainder of this."
I will leave you to your work, and I do intend to return.
He says, I look forward to it.
She smiles and she says it's not too often that one is accepting of one with my particular issues.
He chuckles and he says, we all have our secrets.
That we do. And we like to keep them that way.
He nods one last time and he turns and kneels in this circle and draws out his swords. And as you turn to leave, you see him bury his swords through his stomach. And it gets exceptionally dark.
Yeah, with that, she's going to step outside if she's going to leave, as he suggested she should. And she will pick up any weapons, and if there are any bodies still in the present area, she'll kind of try to clear them off to an area where they're all together, as it was said, he would take care of bodies.
Yeah.
She figures at least make it a little bit easier.
All right. Yeah, there's a number of
You can do. 1 second.
sure.
Okay, yeah. So she, like I said, she's going to maneuver the bodies if they're still around. Because, like I said, I don't know.
Yeah, they're kind of laying
All
in
over.
the alley, so
Okay,
none of them
yeah.
got out of the alleyways.
Well, I know that it was said it was going to be taken care of, but she'll make it a little easier and put them all in one place.
Okay.
And pick up the firearms and other weapons that may have been left behind, just to get those out of the way as well. No evidence. Toss those in her trunk when she gets to the car.
There's a number of submachine guns and smaller pistols. Which,
Okay.
the one that stands out to you that you saw this guy using actually is a when you get closer, it's basically modular. It's a like a small submachine gun
I'm telling
But-
you that I just so you know, I have 0 in firearms, so I probably don't know any of this.
You can see it's a smaller gun that has a larger barrel and stock that have been added on, but look like they go on and off easily.
Right. So
So
she knows enough that it's a firearm, so she should be careful with it.
and that one obviously comes apart.
Right.
That's what you do. And it hurts worse. That you
They're
know from
all-
experience.
They're all getting tossed in her trunk when she gets there. And I don't know, you being the ST in this, I have the gift. I have a fetish that allows me to use the gift camouflage, but camouflage is generally used in a wilderness setting because it's a Wendigo gift.
Okay.
But I figure it would equally blend in the city because it doesn't specify that it doesn't in the rules. So you being the ST on this scene, I will leave that call to you. But if it does apply, that's what she's going to make sure that's activated when hauling all these weapons back to her
I would
car.
assume so. In some fashion.
She's got a fetish called chameleon skin, and it's as the Wendigo gift camouflage. But chameleon skin to me implies that while it is camouflage, it's chameleon skin.
Right. It blends with the surroundings.
Right. So she would be utilizing that because she does not want to be seen walking through the city and alleyways with a bunch of firearms.
Oh, fuck. I knew I was supposed to. I'm going to have you do something else.
What?
I needed you to roll a gnosis.
I can roll a gnosis right now.
It would have been when the shadow dragon lunged at you. Like, spaced.
Oh, well, I can roll it and we can say it happened. I got a 4 gnosis. Being that I'm only Cleath until I get my rank challenge, I got a 9, depending on the gnosis diff.
It would have been 5. She had 2. Alrighty.
All right. But yeah, all those other firearms in the trunk the moment she gets there. Closed.
Okay.
And I think she's off to have some drinks.
Yeah, I sent you a note on Facebook. You want to check that quick, and then we'll decide where to go from there. We should probably have
Yep, she'll return to the sept. She'll go to the sept.
All right, so that will wrap this up, and we will, I'm sure, have plenty more scenes to come tonight. So this was a kind of a crossover side scene with McKenna and the Mages. Thank you all for watching, and we'll see you soon.